Yeah. So I'm gonna just talk. And just talk for this little episode. Phone tag live. Tag you're it. Morning motivation. And so I titled this particular episode, You Will Live Your Life According, dot, dot, dot. You will live your life according. Inshallah. What will I be able to say during this episode? COVID-19, home quarantine in full effect. COVID-19, home quarantine in full effect. One motivation. So it's weird because we're in a time where this pandemic is happening globally around the world, and it's supposedly very contagious and is spreading very rapidly amongst the peoples in every community except Russia somehow. But given the statistics and the numbers and people are dying, they never gave any statistics like this in the past with any of the other things that kill people. But for some reason, they've decided to do that with this infection. And they're reporting all these deaths and setting up, to manage this manufacturing of death. They figured out some kind of way to manufacture death. They're always trying to imitate nature. Nature does everything first. And all of the amazing things that nature does first and man witnesses, he wants to replicate that. So for a long time, I guess man has been trying to figure out how to manufacture, not replicate, because he knows all kind of ways to bring about that. But I guess now he wants to manufacture it. He wants to do it on a certain scale. And he wants to be able to control it have a certain amount of control over it. And that's what we're seeing now. They're setting up makeshift morgues, makeshift cemeteries, makeshift hospitals. They're trying to do they call it, it's business terms, logistics for death. Now, for me, I'm not really a business person. That's always been a thing with me. I've never been into the business, going after the business. That requires certain interests and certain motivations. I'm on the artistic or the creative side. Our interests are very different. Now I'm getting deep. And that's all he gave me to give you on that. Inshallah. I deal on a very spiritual level and a very conscious of what is allowed to happen and what is not allowed to happen. the Most High, we call it, inshallah. And all the specific details, a lot of times when you get to this level of thought, a lot of the details are unimportant. You know, like where did it come from? Who did it? You know, how they do it, their reasons for doing it. All those things become unimportant when you think on the high level, the spiritual level, the Most High. You just know the Most High written for things to happen, and they'll happen however they happen. And only those things that happen, and only those things that are written happen. And all of those things that happen are all written to happen. Inshallah. So, we're getting to my thoughts here. Okay. So, in the beginning, it was affecting all of the groups of people, starting with the Asians. Europe really got out of control. Calmed down with the Asians, got it under control. And then it went really ballistic on the Caucasians, or the white people. I know everyone's noticing the same patterns. So now we're at the point where they're claiming it's, in the beginning, it had no effect on the black people. They were even amazed that it wasn't spreading through Africa, because they know Africa has a very weak infrastructure, and they have very poor facilities such as hospitals and stuff like that. So if some pandemic really, if a real pandemic came and was unbiased and attacked a place like Africa with their weak infrastructure, they know that it really should just almost wipe them out, because they wouldn't be able to manage it. They have no equipment. They have, you know, they're not as prepared as so-called the rest of the developed world. But that didn't happen. So it started to people started to question its effect on the colored population, because there were no reports coming in from anywhere of colored people being really affected by this pandemic that was spreading so rapidly amongst all the other groups. And then now, the colored people are the, at least in America, and from the media that I'm exposed to, it's mostly affecting the black people now. It's a shift from it wasn't affecting black people at all to it's mostly affected because the underlying conditions and this and that. And I think this is just a psychological ploy to make the colored people in a lot of the American communities, or a lot of the communities of color in America, they want you to believe this is having an enormous effect on you, so that they can be allowed to come and build special facilities for treating it. That would make sense, right? If you have infection that's affecting specific large groups of people, you know, to come and build special facilities to treat it, right? But something don't feel right, you say, because they're doing a lot. I mean, I mean, they're showing it. You have all these makeshift morgues, makeshift hospitals, makeshift You're manufacturing death, man. I know what this is, inshallah. And it's not because I'm so smart, it's because Allah just enlightened me to it. So I have this medium that I can say whatever I want to say. And somehow this is what he's inspiring me. So people are not feeling it. You want to start building all of these special facilities for treating this illness. But we don't know if you're going to put these specific facilities. See, because you always play with words too. You know, a Department of Peace that only spreads war. You feel me? It's like that George Orwell, 1984. Words, you know, you use words on the people so they can accept what you're trying to feed them, because that's how words are very effective. So if you tell the people you want to build facilities to treat the illness in the community, they tend to take it at face value and think you're going to put facilities that are there to treat the illness. When in all reality, what you're saying is, let us build this facility that's going, we've done our job with the marketing first and making you aware of it. So now we've done an effective job making you think you may already have it. So you're paranoid. And now we're coming through and we're trying to get some of the footwork done by saying, let us put these facilities here that we're labeling as treatment facilities that would treat the illness. But these are really facilities that's going to inject the illness, introduce the illness that you've been preparing people for, warning. It's really so weird how it's psychological warfare, people. And if your mind is not built for this, you're very vulnerable. It's like anything else. It's like physical combat. You know, if somebody's always working out and getting themselves in shape, you know, shadow boxing, practicing moves, getting themselves ready for this combat, and you don't even know you have been signed up for this combat, for this challenge that's coming up. When you get in the ring with your opponent and he's been doing all of that and you haven't been doing nothing, you haven't been getting yourself in physical shape, you lazy, was laying around eating, doing what you want to do. You wasn't doing no practicing, no forms, no katas, no, you know, moves. This dude's been doing all of that. What do you think is going to be the outcome of that match? It's very lopsided. It's the same thing with the psychological, mental warfare that you're undergoing right now. You haven't been thinking like this. You haven't been thinking of these things. You haven't been thinking that somebody could, you know, deceive you, an official person. You know, because they have you believing that an official person is going to be official. That's why they put the official or federal. You know, everybody think federal is government, like the Federal Reserve, and that has nothing to do with the government. That's not government. Official is not official. You know, real is not real. They using that as a label. You have to know the difference. And when somebody show you something that's not real, when they tell you that's real, you got to know. Nah, that's not real. What are you talking about? You better know. Because if somebody come to you and show you some fake stuff and tell you this is real, you better know what that is. Because if you don't, you think gonna happen right there in that little battle right there? You losing. You gonna believe whatever he's telling you. And you're gonna do whatever he tell you in regard to it. He can control your mind, your movements. According. You will live your life according, man. You will live your life according to the knowledge you possess, to the knowledge you possess, to the knowledge you possess, which only submits to you will live your life according to the will of the Most High. You will live your life according to the Inshallah. You will live your life according. So why worry? I don't worry about this COVID-19 pandemic that shut down the globe. I kind of was expecting it. I was waiting for when this would happen. I knew it would come soon. This is my domain. This is the intangible domain. There's a tangible domain, and there's the intangible. The Most High gave our sibling our white brothers, our Caucasian brothers, the Most High gave them domain over the tangible. And so they control that which falls under the tangible. The Most High gave it to them. Anything physical, material, it will be under their domain, and you will respect their orders over that which falls under their domain. I discovered this fact. I asked the Most High, so if my brothers have domain over all that is tangible, because that's all I was kind of seeing at the time. See, this is how you have to know is how much you know. Because if that's all you know, then that's all you focus on. So I said, if they have domain over all which is tangible, what do I have? What do we have? The black people. And the Most High told me. He said, you have domain over that which is intangible. That opened up my mind. More than double. It just opened up my mind. It just knocked down walls right there. That was a revelation for me. We have domain over the intangible, that which is not physical, that which cannot be seen, that which most people think does not exist. That is our domain. So, that's all he's giving me on that right there for now. Why worry about COVID-19? Once the Most High gives death your coordinates, since everyone wants to speak in very, data specific terms, coordinates. Once the Most High gives death, death will know your exact location in the matrix. See, once you start talking coordinates, that's when walls and all that stuff disappear. There is no walls in the Matrix. The Matrix is long. Now I'm getting deep. Whoever's exposed to this information, inshallah. The Matrix is long. All of this space, all of this me, through me, back out, is long. It's just particles. I guess within it's like all water, like it's all liquid, it's all. If you were able to move to this level, it's just a bunch of particles, and the only thing that's changing is the color. And if you had the ability, you can wave your hand through everything. You can wave your hand through all the lawn, because that's really what it is. And everything follows laws. I guess it would stay in its place if it meant to follow those laws, but your hand would move through it. The Most High's hand moved through long. For me, long would be the air to the shirt, to probably more air beneath the shirt to my skin and the hairs on my skin, and go through that, and then there's blood, and go through that as muscle, go through that as bone, but it's just changing color, so the Most High could wave through it. Long. Islam. I wanted to say something about the lawn, but he took that away. Islam is this matter, exists. And everything that's happening is happening for a reason, because it was written. So we will all play our parts. And it's beautiful. And I'm happy to be a part of it. And I don't want to go any deeper into it because he didn't give me the inspiration. So that's as far as I'm gonna go. And I'm just gonna keep playing with my show, and I have some other ideas of what I'm gonna do. COVID-19 home quarantine. This will be some of you guys stop. A lot of people will get off at the soul train. This is the soul train of life. This is another stop. A lot of people going to get off at this stop. It's like one of those popular stops. One of those kind of stops where a lot of people get off the train at that stop. But everybody don't get off. There's still more people who's on the train. So the train going to keep going. And those people that got to get off at this stop, you know what I mean? It's nothing anybody could do for them. God's going to give death your coordinates. And death's going to come and handle business. And that's going to be the end of that. But the people that's left, you're going to keep living life. And I guess you're going to come to realize you don't underestimate the power of the Most High. For nothing else. No material thing. Most High rules. And you will live life. You will live your life. I'm going to play with this, you know what I mean? Plus, I got to clock in for work because we're working from home now. Because of the COVID-19 home quarantine. I got to still get that paper. You understand? And enjoy the rest of your day, man. Peace.